It is March 6th. It's been a little bit since I recorded. There's been a lot going on in real life. We had maintenance done, and I had to go out to the girlfriend's, so 3.5 hour drive there and then back, and I had to help carry a bunch of stuff, and was trying not to drop it in the snowy parking lot, and I should have just let it drop. Made the mistake. I tried to twist and keep it up because I was carrying it on my back, and I just couldn't, and I was holding it like over my shoulders, and it's on my back, and I just couldn't keep it up, and it fell anyway. So it was stupid of me to twist my back and my neck and my shoulders all up like that, and I did a number on myself. Like I've been in a lot of pain from that, but I do seem to be healing, so that's good. I haven't done that. I haven't twisted my back up like that since I don't know. I was like 25, and I was helping someone move, and I tore my back to shreds doing something. And that time, at least it was only my back. The neck and the shoulders has actually been worse than the back with this, so that's been sucky, really sucky. Um, been just a lot of stuff in real life. But on the plus side, um, the paralegal service, I got them my birth certificate. They said they received it. So that's something. Hopefully, something will happen with the name change thing. I really hope so. Our girlfriend got my spouse an appointment in late April for the vaccine. So hopefully, our lives will start to improve at that point, and we'll be able to, you know, the others of us get the vaccine and things work out that way. Um, that'd be really cool. I was on the 3.5 hour drive back, to try to distract myself from how much pain I was in. I started singing along with, you know, music that I used to sing to, like, Nightwish and Muse and Linkin Park and Evanescence and Florence the Machine. Thieves Have Eyes. Just all that stuff, right? Well, anyway, so I was singing with all this stuff, and oh my gosh, it is very difficult for me to sing some of the stuff that I used to be able to sing just fine. My voice is deep enough at this point that I can't sing higher than a certain point, and I kept trying to work at it and stuff, and I just cannot do it. So I'm gonna have to relearn how to sing some of that stuff. Um, like the girlfriend suggested I go into a falsetto, but I've mostly been just dropping instead of going higher. I've definitely lost some of my vocal range. I mean, on the one hand, you kind of expect that. On the other hand, it's like I didn't want to fully lose a singing voice, so I'm trying to sing as my voice is changing. But man, sometimes I am so flat or pitchy, it sounds like uncomfortable to my own ears how bad it is. And I used to be able to carry a tune pretty decent, and um, I gotta practice singing more or something because right now holding a tune is a little bit hard. um, it's it's interesting. It's a trip. I knew it could happen though. I mean, I've heard of other trans folks who lost their singing voice as they transitioned and stuff. So, um, I knew it was a possibility, but it's fine. I definitely feel like my voice has to be deeper. Um, you know, I went to a support group, you know, and they were like, "Oh yeah, oh my gosh, your voice," and I was like, "My voice." They were like, "Yeah, it's a whole octave lower than the last time we talked to you, when it was already lower." I don't know about that. I don't know. I live with myself too much to be able to tell if it's that much of a difference, but it does feel like to me that it is a little deeper. So that's something. Um, I definitely am still not getting misgendered in public, which is nice. I was at the gas station and I was just in a t-shirt and jeans, and it was cold. The wind was blowing, and I think it was 30 degrees. I don't remember what degrees it was. It wasn't like frozen, but it was chilly. The wind was really what was the chilliest part. And I'm getting gas, and I look over because I hear this like crying, and it's this dude, and he's like completely in this winter coat, like curled up like this, hugging himself, jumping up and down, trying to keep warm, like whimpering and crying because he's so cold. So I start singing so that he would chuckle or smile or whatever, and he just looks at me and starts shaking his head, and he's like, "You're crazy, man. You're crazy." And I'm like, I laugh, and I'm like, some dudes are just like that. They don't need a coat when it's cold outside. And he's just like, "You're crazy." you know the maintenance guy came by, and he's all just chatting with me like I was just one of the guys or whatever. And the girls were like apparently smiling at each other and being like, "Oh, look, you're making best friends and having bro chats with some dude." I don't know if it was bro chats. We were just talking about how stupid. There was this guy on YouTube, and he was making a tiny house, and he was doing it in the dumbest ways possible. And we were laughing at his like mistakes and stuff and everything, and it was just entertaining. Well, it started with he was fixing the back of the oven. The igniter went out, and I thought it was the igniter. So, he had at first he put spray foam around where the gas line comes in because he thought, well, maybe it came loose or something. And I was like, I thought it was the igniter. So he opens it up and he's like, "Oh yeah, it is the igniter." I don't know how to change the igniter myself, so obviously we had to have maintenance to it. Well, he's all like complaining about how bad the stove is made because the igniter is behind all of the brackets to hold the sensors in, and the wires are still exposed. The wires are treated to be heat resistant, so it doesn't make sense why they would put them behind the brackets. And he's just like frustrated with the poor design of whoever made this stove. Whereas, so it reminded me of my dad because he always used to complain about my old car and about how like the spark plugs were behind the engine, and stuff like that. Like it was really annoying, and my dad would curse the thing out. So this guy wasn't cursing out the stove, but it still reminded me of that. So then I started making him laugh, telling him about, well, at least you didn't poorly design an entire house. And do all this stuff. And he was laughing. He was having a good time with that. But the girls were all like, "Oh, ha ha ha. You're talking about man things with a man and being man. Or I don't know. I have no idea. They were just smiley about it or whatever. But I mean, I was a mason laborer for years. Like I worked in a masonry yard for bricklaying and stuff. Like I've been around constructiony, maintenancey, whatever guys a decent chunk in my life. Like that was my father's job, and we were always around like stuff like that. Like we'd in the summer sometimes end up at job sites and stuff and everything. It's not like I've never built anything in my life or helped build anything, I should say. Um, like we turned an entire carport into a room in one of the houses we lived in. Built it from scratch, like I've done stuff. So I know at least a little bit. Even besides that, I want to build a house someday, and I do watch things about that. It was funny to me. I don't know. I don't talk about it all the time, but I do know some of that stuff actually. Um, I mean, you kind of can't help but know some of that stuff if your father's my father. my dad, my dad, thinks that there's a certain amount of basic knowledge that every person should have about, how houses work or how a car works or, stuff like that. Like he thinks there's a baseline of knowledge that anyone should have, like period, if you're gonna ever own a home or if you're ever gonna work on a home or have construction workers come work so they don't scam you because you don't know what they're talking about. Like that's just how my father is. So it's impossible to grow up around my dad and not know something. I mean, I would not say that I know everything. I would definitely say that I would still need the help of an engineer or something like that. I'm not like a professional or anything. I'm just saying I'm not like completely ignorant about stuff like that. But I don't talk about it all the time. So whatever. I guess maybe sometimes the girls forget. I don't know. Anyway, I have not really been exercising ever since we went to go do the trip and stuff. And then I got injured. So that's a little sucky, but I'm still eating quite a bit of protein because I did tear up my muscles and I'm hoping that'll help them heal up and everything. Um, but yeah, it's not been fun. For a little while there, I couldn't even turn my head. Like, I hurt myself pretty bad. Hopefully, things will keep on going, though. Been trying to figure out what to do about trying to get divorced with my spouse because the one website didn't work out. Every other website says to just go to the courthouse paperwork and stuff. But then the courthouse paperwork, certain parts of the court are closed due to COVID. And it's like, I don't even know if all of the correct papers can even be submitted correctly and everything. And I don't know for sure what the problem is if we move to another state, we're gonna have to wait. As far as I can tell, other states, I've looked up multiple of them, and it all seems to be the minimum wait to get a divorce from someone is the establishment of residency. So, establishment of residency, the minimum one I saw was 6 months. Almost all of them, it was a year or 2 years, and it's like I, I would like to be able to work, um, and I can't do that till we get divorced. So it's like frustrating. I don't know. I'm genuinely considering getting like a lawyer or something, even though that would be expensive just to get it done. But I also don't know how that works really either. I was thinking about asking the next time I see my therapist, she has contacts and stuff. Maybe she has contacts with a lawyer who helps or, whatever. Or maybe has a sliding scale for fees at least. For like if you're poor. um I don't know. I've been thinking about ideas or whatever. But at the same time, I don't know what's happening with the name change thing. And I don't know if getting divorced while also changing your name is a stupid idea, if it's gonna like invalidate documents or something. But that would be something to ask a lawyer. So I don't know. My head feels so heavy on my neck. Like my neck hurts. Like my shoulders yesterday were radiating a lot of pain, but today I woke up and so far they're really stiff and a little sore, but they're not like radiating pain, but my neck still is. So, but that seems to be how it was healing. It kind of went up from my lower back into my upper back into my shoulders that seems to be the way that's just trying to heal, is from the bottom up. So, been playing a lot of gaming, trying to do Mythic Pluses, and also there's an event going on in ESO, and we've been playing a decent amount of Black Desert Online because it's free right now, and there's a bunch of in-game rewards and stuff because of the anniversary event, and it was the only MMO that was the major MMOs that I had never played, so it's pretty fun, but I can definitely see how it's grindy. But I don't know, I've been enjoying it, but I'm not even close to max level or anything, so I think I'm like level 40 something. Anywho, um, yeah. The biggest thing is definitely, as far as my transition goes, was the singing. My voice has definitely changed. Not really noticing much for other changes besides that though at the moment, but that's okay. Um, yeah, I can't really think of any other changes. So, anyhow, just checking in.